Can I be honest with you all? I hope that I can. I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed this week. I'm sure I'm not unique in that. I've said to many people over the last 6 months or so that it is perfectly normal to feel a bit overwhelmed at the moment. Many of our situations are overwhelming. Trying to keep up with current government guidance, living our lives differently, not being able to see or interact with people in the way we'd like to. Finding ourselves able to go out less, much less. Finding ourselves more isolated, more lonely. Life has been hard this year. And then on top of that, you have all the other things that life throws at you that come normally without COVID. Some of us have been bereaved or are suffering from ill health. Some of us are worried about our livelihoods or watching from afar as friends and family members struggle. This week for me, it was a couple of silly things. We've had a leak in the manse roof around the front chimney, which we've been getting quotes to have fixed. And then in the last lot of heavy rain, the roof developed a second leak around the other chimney stack. Fantastic. And then with me working from home, I've been doing my best to do some of the housework as I go during the day, and I went to put a wash on, and our washing machine decided to pack up. These two little things, annoying things that any other time I'd just deal with. A leak in the roof, a washing machine that's on its last legs. But this week, on top of everything else that's going on in my life and in the world, I just felt like I couldn't cope with anything else. I felt completely overwhelmed. Now, fortunately for me, God has blessed me with an amazing wife who came home from work and started sorting everything out. Why do I tell you this? Well, firstly, I want you to know that it's okay to feel overwhelmed from time to time. In this world we live in right now, it's okay if you feel like you can't cope. It might surprise some of you to find out that whilst I am indeed a Baptist minister, I am not Superman. I am not perfect. I don't float around on a cloud of faith, and sometimes I too find it incredibly hard to cope. Anyway, all of that, it brings me to 1 Timothy 5 verse 23. Stop drinking only water, Paul writes, and use a little wine because of your stomach and your frequent illnesses. What on earth has that got to do with me feeling a bit overwhelmed, you might ask, or any of us? Let me try and explain. Firstly, I'm not suggesting for a minute that the way in which to cope when you feel overwhelmed is a glass of wine, though sometimes that might be nice. This verse is important in a very different way. The whole letter is all about all the things that Timothy has to do, all the ways in which he needs to help the church grow, all the people he needs to force into the line, all the things that he should not neglect. And one of the things that Timothy must not neglect in the midst of all that's happening around him is to look after himself. This verse is a simple reminder for Timothy to take care of himself. And I think from time to time we all need that reminder as well, that reminder that it's okay not to feel okay. And sometimes we just need to look after ourselves. That reminder that in the midst of all God calls us to do in his service, he also wants us to flourish. And for us to flourish, sometimes we need the equivalent of a little wine. Today, I want to encourage you to take some time to take care of yourself. It's a good example to set. It's a good way to help us grow into the people God is calling us to be, to look after ourselves. So what do you need today? Rest, retreat, time out with God, with family. A day under the duvet, a glass of wine in front of the TV. What do you need to take care of yourself today? It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Sometimes we need to take it as a sign to stop and take stock and to be kind to ourselves. So take care.